They will tell you that success is about what you say yes to opportunity, yes to growth, yes to the grind. But they forget to tell you this: your life is shaped just as much, if not more, by what you refuse to entertain. Your greatness is forged not just in what you embrace, but in what you reject. The truth is simple, brutal, and liberating. You will never rise while carrying the weight of what weakens you. And yet most people walk through life with arms wide open, picking up distractions like candy, hoarding obligations that drain them, and saying yes to people who only see them as convenience. They trade their future for fleeting approval. They bury their destiny under the noise of everything that doesn't matter. But not you. Not anymore. Because you are not here to be liked. You are here to be legendary. And legends are built on boundaries. Thomas Edison didn't say yes to every invention idea. He said no to the distractions, to the social pressure, to the 1,000 voices telling him it couldn't be done. He said no to doubt so he could say yes to persistence. Henry Ford didn't become a titan by indulging every whim. He refused the chaos of complexity and said no to the idea that the world needed more custom-built luxury. Instead, he gave the world the Model T. Simple, reliable, efficient. Because he knew how to focus. He knew how to say no to what didn't scale. That discipline changed the course of history. And now it's your turn. The first enemy you must defeat is not failure, it is distraction. Distraction is the death of all dreams. It doesn't kill you quickly, it kills you subtly. It whispers, just this once. It tells you you deserve a break. It convinces you that meaningless things deserve a place in your limited time. But every moment you give to what doesn't build you is a moment stolen from what does. You have only so much energy, so much focus, so much fire, and every yes is a transaction, a withdrawal from your inner bank of power. Say yes to gossip, you just traded your mental clarity. Say yes to someone else's agenda, you just rented out your purpose. Say yes to convenience over consistency, you just robbed your future for a cheap thrill. If you want to be extraordinary, your no must be stronger than your fear of missing out. Your no must protect your purpose like a lion guards its den. Because here's what they don't tell you. Saying no doesn't make you mean. It makes you focused. It doesn't close you off. It narrows your path to power. Every towering oak began as a seed that refused to grow in the wrong soil. So stop planting yourself in environments that do not feed your fire. If the conversation dims your light, walk away. If the habit steals your clarity, drop it. If the task doesn't align with your mission, eliminate it. If the person doesn't respect your path, distance yourself. You were not born to be a servant to chaos. Clarity begins where compromise ends. You must choose now. Do you want to be popular, or do you want to be powerful? There's a reason why so few ever taste greatness. Because it costs you everything that doesn't serve it. You must build a fortress around your mind, a sacred boundary that filters every request, every idea, every emotion, with one brutal question. Does this build me? Not does it feel good, not does it entertain me, not does it please others, but does it build me? Does it grow my character? Does it sharpen my vision? Does it move me closer to my highest self? If the answer is no, then the response must be no. This is the code of winners, the law of the focused. They live by subtraction, by simplification. They prune their life like a master sculptor chiseling away marble, not to create something new, but to reveal what was already buried within. Michelangelo once said that David was already in the stone. He just removed what didn't belong. So must you. Your greatness is already within you, but to uncover it, you must remove what hides it. You must say no to the noise, no to the drama, no to the unnecessary. Because the world is loud. It will give you 1,000 chances to wander, to waste time, to fall asleep at the wheel of your life. But clarity is a rebellion. Discipline is defiance. Saying no is your declaration of war against mediocrity. You cannot ride 2 horses. You cannot serve 2 masters. You cannot build an empire with your hands full of excuses and distractions. You must choose your mountain, then climb. And as you climb, you'll realize something sacred. Most people aren't weighed down by failure. They're weighed down by what they won't let go of. Let go. Let go of what doesn't elevate you. Let go of what dims your hunger. Let go of what doesn't echo with the future you're trying to build. Because your time is finite. Your attention is gold, and your mission is not negotiable. You are not here to exist, you are here to build. And builders do not waste bricks. Do not apologize for having a vision that intimidates the average. Do not shrink for the comfort of others who fear what your growth reveals in themselves. Your ability to say no is not rejection. It is refinement. It is the art of burning bridges that lead nowhere, of collapsing paths that never belonged to your journey in the first place. Abraham Lincoln once said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." But what they forget is that sharpening the axe meant saying no to everything else. No to unnecessary movement, no to panic, no to ego, just stillness, just focus, just preparation. Preparation is a form of power, and it only happens when your attention is undivided. But we live in a world that sells fragmentation. Every app wants your time. Every notification is a thief in disguise. Every screen, every scroll, every shallow conversation is a silent leak in your destiny. They will not stop coming. So you must become the wall. You must be ruthless with your attention. You must protect your focus like a warrior protects his homeland, because it is your homeland. Your mind is your territory, and if you don't guard it, someone else will occupy it. This isn't about being busy. It's about being deliberate. Busyness is a cheap drug. Anyone can fill a calendar, but only the wise fill it with meaning. To be deliberate is to look at each hour of your day like sacred ground, to ask what deserves to live here and what must be exiled. There is no greatness without sacred structure, no freedom without intentional design. Walt Disney didn't build an empire by winging it. He said no to complacency, no to those who said animation was a dead art, no to the limits of his time. He carved out a new path, pixel by pixel, dream by dream, because he had the audacity to reject what didn't match the size of his imagination. Your dreams demand that same audacity. But let me be clear, saying no isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's silent. It's closing the tab. It's not responding to that message. It's walking past the fridge. It's skipping the party. It's waking up early when the world still sleeps. It's those quiet, invisible refusals that build the loudest legacies. And yes, it will be lonely. You will outgrow people. You will disappoint the ones who loved your compliance. You will become too much for those who never wanted you to become anything at all. But that is the price of clarity, and clarity is the breeding ground of freedom. You were not designed to live wide. You were designed to live deep, to go deep into your craft, deep into your character, deep into your calling, and depth demands that you cut away everything that floats on the surface. Discipline, then, is the ultimate form of love. It is love for your future self, love for your vision, love for the people who will one day benefit from what you're building. You are not just saying no for yourself. You are saying no for the people you haven't met yet, the ones whose lives will be changed because you chose to go all in. Every no is a seed planted in the soil of tomorrow, and the harvest is coming, but only if you stay faithful to your fire. Too many people get halfway to the top, then turn around because the noise called them back down. The comfort called them back down. The familiar begged for their return. But you are not meant to climb halfway. You were born for the summit. And the summit requires sacrifice. Say no to the halfway climb. Say no to the halfway effort. Say no to the halfway dream. You don't need more time. You need fewer thieves. You don't need more motivation. You need fewer distractions. You don't need more talent. You need more focus. And the secret to focus is not addition, it's subtraction. What are you willing to subtract from your life to multiply your impact? There is a version of you that already knows what needs to go. That voice you keep quiet, that gut feeling you ignore, that quiet knowing you bury beneath obligations and shoulds and expectations. It's time to listen to it. The voice that says, "This isn't who you are." The voice that whispers, "You were made for more." The one that knows you will never reach your destiny carrying what was never meant to come with you. That voice is your compass, and every time you say no to what doesn't build you, that compass becomes louder, stronger, sharper, until one day your path becomes so clear it silences every excuse, every doubt, every voice that ever tried to shrink you. That is your power. That is your responsibility. That is your freedom. So say it now. Say it like your future depends on it, because it does. No. To the doubt, to the noise, to the comfort, to the mediocrity, to the distractions dressed in the costume of urgency. Say no. Because you're not just building a life, you're building a legacy. And legacy bows to no one. There is a sacred kind of violence required to become who you were meant to be. Not violence against others, but against your own comfort, your own mediocrity, your own craving for validation. To rise, you must destroy what no longer serves your becoming. And that begins with 1,000 quiet acts of refusal. Refusal to be available for people who drain you. Refusal to participate in habits that numb you. Refusal to chase things that shine but do not satisfy. You are not a beggar hoping life will hand you power. You are a sculptor with a chisel, carving your existence into something eternal. And the chisel is your discipline. The hammer is your no. Every person you admire, the builders, the visionaries, the giants, they were all masters of elimination. They knew that the real test was never the world. It was themselves. Steve Jobs once said that focus is not about saying yes to the right things. It's about saying no to 1,000 good things. Not bad things, good things, tempting things, things that feel like opportunities but are really detours in disguise. The world will try to seduce you with the myth of more connections, more projects, more exposure, more yes. But success doesn't come from more. It comes from less, but better. Better attention, better habits, better choices. And better choices require brutal clarity. You cannot become exceptional until you are willing to offend average. You cannot fly until you shed the weight. And let's be clear, some of that weight will look like love. Some of it will sound like loyalty. Some of it will carry your last name, but if it costs you your future, it's too expensive. This isn't cruelty. This is strategy. You are not rejecting people. You are accepting alignment. And aligned people will never require you to shrink. When you commit to growth, you will become a mirror. Some will look at you and be inspired. Others will look at you and see everything they're refusing to change. Your no will make them uncomfortable. Let it. Your boundaries are not up for debate. Your destiny is not a community vote. There is something divine about a human being who knows exactly who they are and refuses to negotiate with anything less. That's what your no does. It draws a line in the sand. It says, I will not tolerate half-hearted effort in a full-scale life. I will not rent my mind to chaos. I will not abandon myself to please people who don't even know who they are. And in that line, that silent declaration, you rise. You become more than a name, more than a job, more than a body navigating space. You become a force, a presence that speaks even when you're silent. A person who has replaced people-pleasing with purpose-pursuing. A soul that no longer begs for permission to exist. That's what happens when you learn to say no, consistently, unapologetically, and with conviction. You begin to vibrate at a frequency that chaos can't tolerate. You don't have to scream. You don't have to explain. You don't have to defend. The way you walk will do all the talking. People will feel your energy shift. They will notice you no longer respond to the bait. You no longer participate in small talk, small dreams, or small games. You are operating on a different current now. Because once you realize how valuable your time, focus, and spirit truly are, you will stop auctioning them to the lowest bidder. Understand this. You are not for everyone. And that is your power. You are for the few who see the fire in your eyes and don't flinch. The few who understand that greatness requires sacrifice. The few who are also saying no behind closed doors so they can say yes to something bigger, something lasting. And when you meet them, you'll recognize each other by the silence, the stillness, the eyes that do not wander, the schedule that is not cluttered, the speech that is not desperate. Because power is quiet, discipline is quiet, freedom is quiet. But the results are deafening. And you don't need to announce your no. Let the elevation speak for itself. Let your transformation be the loudest thing in the room. You are not here to chase moments. You are here to create momentum. And momentum is only possible when you stop scattering your soul in 1,000 directions. So breathe, look at your life, and ask yourself, not someday, not later, but right now, what have I allowed that no longer serves me? What am I feeding that is feeding on me? What must be released so I can rise? Because the world is not waiting. Time is not pausing. Your potential is not infinite. It is sacred, it is rare, and it is calling. Say no to what numbs you. Say no to what distracts you. Say no to what confuses your path. Because on the other side of no is freedom, on the other side of no is focus, and on the other side of no is you, finally becoming everything you were always meant to be. There is a version of you, unburdened, unwavering, unstoppable, and it's waiting behind everything you haven't yet let go of. The clutter in your calendar, the clutter in your mind, the clutter in your spirit. We've been taught to accumulate, to gather, to say yes so we don't miss out. But real power, real mastery, isn't about accumulation. It's about elimination. Every spiritual path, every ancient discipline, every modern success story eventually arrives at the same truth. Less is more. But less must be intentional. You are not here to carry everything. You are here to carry only what matters. Think of the legends who came before you. Carnegie said no to the small life and stepped into steel, an industry no one believed in. He said no to a life of quiet poverty and yes to impact. But he could only do that by shedding what didn't serve him. So must you. You can't carry the pain of your past and also hold the blueprint of your future. You can't say yes to your healing and still entertain the habits that broke you. Some things must be dropped at the door of your destiny, and you will need both hands empty to open it. Let me ask you something that might sting. What are you still holding on to? Because it's familiar. What have you kept around? Not because it builds you, but because it doesn't challenge you. Comfort is a liar. It will whisper in your ear, telling you that you're okay, that this is enough, that you don't need to change. But you do. Because okay is not why you were born. You were born to move mountains, not decorate them. You were born to lead, not follow opinions like a lost traveler. And yes, that kind of life comes at a cost. You'll lose people, you'll lose hobbies, you'll lose identities that felt like home. But make no mistake, what you gain will shake the heavens. You gain self-respect, you gain time, you gain strength in silence, you gain you. You begin to walk into rooms differently. You're not chasing energy, you are the energy. You're not looking for permission, you are permission. You walk with a posture that says, I know where I'm going, and I'm not afraid to leave behind anything that doesn't walk with me. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. This is self-mastery. This is your rebirth. There's a reason the phoenix rises after the fire. The fire is the no, the flame that consumes the unnecessary, the searing clarity that melts down everything false so what's real can emerge. You are not afraid of the fire. You are the fire. Let that truth settle. Because from this point forward, you will feel the urge to compromise, to make just one exception, to say yes just this once, to hold on to something that once meant everything, but no longer fits. And in that moment, you will remember this. Every compromise is a vote against your highest self, and you are no longer in the business of betraying yourself for temporary comfort. So practice it. The next time someone asks for your time, ask yourself, will this nourish me or drain me? The next time you're pulled into a situation, pause and ask, does this help me build the life I claim to want? And when your heart answers, not with fear, but with truth, honor it, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it disappoints others, even if you stand alone, especially then. Because your future is not built in the spotlight. It's built in those quiet, private decisions, those invisible moments where no one is watching. But your destiny is. It's watching who you choose to become when no one is clapping. It's watching what you protect when no one is validating you. It's watching whether you are strong enough to close the doors that don't belong in your hallway of purpose. You are not weak for saying no. You are wise, and the world will catch up, or it won't. But that's no longer your concern. You are no longer asking who will come with you. You are asking what needs to be removed so you can move. There is momentum waiting behind your decision, and momentum doesn't visit those who hesitate. It visits the brave, the focused, the disciplined, the ones who are willing to prune the garden of their life ruthlessly because they understand this simple truth. Nothing grows in chaos. And you are not here to survive. You are here to grow. There's a strange moment on the path to greatness, a moment when you begin to see clearly, not because the world changed, but because you did. You see through the noise. You see through the flattery. You see through the busy work dressed up as productivity, through the people who praise your potential only if it stays dormant. And when that vision arrives, something inside you shifts forever. You no longer ask, what will they think? You ask, What will I become? That is when your no becomes sacred, because it's no longer about boundaries, it's about identity. Every no you speak is a vote for the person you are becoming, and every yes to the wrong thing is a betrayal of that becoming. You are not obligated to remain who you were just to make others comfortable with who you're becoming. Let the old you die. Let the people attached to that version fade. Let the spaces that once felt like home become distant memories, monuments of a chapter you closed with grace. Because if you want to go where few ever go, you must walk a path few ever dare to take. That path demands silence. It demands discipline. It demands that you walk away from applause and approval and addiction to being needed and walk into alignment with your highest truth. And here's that truth, raw and unfiltered. Your life is your fault. Yes, there are forces outside your control. Yes, the world is unfair. But within your circle of influence, your habits, your time, your choices, you are either designing your destiny or defaulting to destruction. And every day, life is asking you a question. What are you available for? Are you available for drama? Then drama will meet you like an old friend. Are you available for distraction? Then distraction will flood your calendar like a broken dam. But if you become available only for what elevates you, then greatness will respond in kind. Because life does not give you what you want. It gives you what you are willing to protect. And what you protect reveals what you believe about yourself. If you protect your time, it means you believe it's sacred. If you protect your energy, it means you believe your presence has power. If you protect your mind, it means you believe your thoughts are worth curating. If you protect your goals, it means you believe they're worth fighting for, even if no one else understands them. So protect. Protect your morning. It is the doorway to your discipline. Protect your focus. It is the currency of kings. Protect your solitude. It is where the real work begins. Let others sleep in. Let others scroll endlessly. Let others drown in the sea of someday. You rise. You sharpen the blade of your attention. You strengthen the muscle of your no. You move with the rhythm of intention. Because you have remembered something most forget. You are not the servant of your life. You are the architect of it. And architects don't just build what's expected, they build what's needed. Even if it hasn't been built before, even if no one sees it yet, even if they call it impossible, impractical, or insane. They build anyway, with patience, with precision, with power. So build your life like that. Build it with the same care a sculptor uses on stone. Every cut deliberate, every line sacred, every hour accounted for. Say no to anything that doesn't belong in your cathedral, because your life is a cathedral, a holy space, and you are the only one responsible for keeping it pure. That means the wrong friendship? Gone. The wrong partnership? Released. The habit that keeps you one step behind? Replaced. The pattern that keeps repeating? Broken. The comfort that became a prison? Burned to the ground. This is not cruelty. This is courage. The courage to evolve, the courage to detach, the courage to say, this version of me was necessary, but it is no longer enough. Because you've seen the future, you've seen the version of yourself who walks with clarity, speaks with conviction, breathes with purpose, and commands the room without saying a word. You must bury what you're still protecting out of fear. Let go. Not later. Not someday. Now. You're not waiting for the right time anymore. The right time is the one you decide on. And you've decided no more. No more tolerating what tears you down. No more abandoning your own standards. No more wasting power on people who never earned access to your energy. You've outgrown the shell. Now shatter it. Say no with power. Say no with peace. Say no with the full knowing that every no is carving out space for the real you to arrive. Your transformation will not begin with applause. It will begin in the quiet moment when you say no to something you've always said yes to. No to the craving. No to the excuse. No to the relationship that feels like home but smells like stagnation. No to the part of you that keeps dragging yesterday into tomorrow. This is the moment. Right here. The moment you finally stop begging life to be easier and decide to become stronger. Because here's the brutal truth. Most people never fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack the discipline to say no when it matters most. No to the snooze button when purpose is calling. No to the short-term pleasure when long-term greatness is within reach. No to the chaos disguised as opportunity. You will not be remembered for everything you allowed. You will be remembered for what you had the courage to refuse. Think about the heroes of history. They were not simply dreamers. They were decision makers. Martin Luther King Jr. said no to silence, no to waiting, no to the illusion of peace without justice. He knew, like you must know, that the world does not change by accident. It changes when someone finally says, I will not allow this anymore, and sometimes that this is not society. Sometimes it's yourself. The version of you that lets fear dictate your pace, that tiptoes around confrontation. That says yes to comfort because you're afraid of the greatness on the other side of discipline. But fear cannot survive in the presence of clarity. And clarity begins the moment you draw the line and say, this no is final, this no is freedom, this no is who I've become. Because make no mistake, every no redefines you. Not just what you do, but who you are. It's a signal to the world, I will not be available for mediocrity anymore. And the world responds in kind. Doors start to open that were once invisible. People start to exit who never truly belonged. Time starts to slow down because it's no longer wasted. That's the reward of alignment. But it doesn't come cheap. You will face resistance, not just from others, but from within. Your habits will fight back. Your mind will whisper doubts in familiar voices. Your nervous system will scream for what's familiar, even if it's killing you. But this is the test, and only the committed survive it. Those who are tired of starting over, those who are sick of the cycle, those who have stared at the ceiling at 3 a.m. asking themselves, why am I still not there yet? The answer isn't outside you. It's in the moment you begin to choose differently. The moment you learn that not every battle is worth fighting, but the one against your own distractions is. The moment you realize that power doesn't come from having options. It comes from knowing what to eliminate. You see, we've been lied to. We were told that more options equal more freedom. But ask anyone who's ever built something extraordinary. Freedom comes from focus. And focus comes from restraint. And restraint begins with no. The power to delete what doesn't matter, to ignore what doesn't move you, to walk away from what doesn't fit your vision. Because real alignment is ruthless. It doesn't compromise. It doesn't negotiate with limitation. It burns what doesn't serve, not out of anger, but out of reverence for what could be. That's what you're stepping into now. The chapter of your life where everything begins to click, not because it got easier, but because you got clearer. No more explaining your path to people who stopped walking theirs. No more lending your fire to those who only bring rain. No more giving your hours to things that will never bear fruit. You are not chasing potential anymore. You are becoming it. That means you must move with strategy, say no with certainty, and guard your energy like a sovereign guards the crown. Because what you're building isn't just for you. It's for everyone who will eat from the table of your obedience. Everyone who will read the book you haven't written yet. Everyone who will hear your voice and think, because they rose, maybe I can too. That's legacy. And legacy doesn't come from 1,000 yeses. It comes from the few, sacred, non-negotiable no's. The ones that protect your path from corrosion, dilution, and distraction. So say it now. Say no to the shallow. Say no to the urgency that's not aligned with purpose. Say no to the person you once were, if they are standing in the way of the person you're becoming. Let the world call it selfish. You'll know it as sacred. Because at the end of your life, when your days are numbered and your time is gone, you won't regret what you refused. You'll regret what you allowed. The ones who rise, truly rise, do not do so by accident. They rise because they decide. They rise because they draw the line. They rise because they stop answering the call of everything that dilutes them and start tuning into the whisper of everything that defines them. And if you are hearing this now, is because there is still something inside you calling you higher. A voice that will not be silenced. A hunger that will not starve itself for the comfort of others. A fire that is tired of being hidden under the ashes of distraction. It is your essence, raw, ancient, eternal, reminding you of who you are and what you came here to do. And make no mistake, you didn't come here to be liked. You didn't come here to blend in. You didn't come here to be a character in someone else's story. You came here to build something unshakable, to live like your days matter. To say no to the noise, not once, not twice, but forever. So you can say yes to the legacy that is trying to rise through you. But understand this. Legacy doesn't shout. It whispers. And it whispers in moments most ignore. When the alarm goes off and the bed whispers comfort. When the calendar is full but the soul feels empty. When the world is screaming for your attention but your future demands your silence. These are the tests that decide the trajectory of your life. And in those moments, you will have two choices, to serve the familiar or to sacrifice for the future. But you cannot do both. You cannot become extraordinary by saying yes to ordinary things. You cannot chase freedom while feeding the things that enslave you. You cannot become focused while letting everything and everyone access your mind without a key. That's not discipline. That's decay. Decay disguised as being nice. Decay disguised as being polite. Decay disguised as keeping the peace. But hear this, there is no peace in betraying yourself. There is no joy in pretending to be smaller than your calling. There is no fulfillment in entertaining what drains you. And yes, it's hard. It's hard to say no when you've spent your whole life saying yes out of fear. Fear of disappointing, fear of being alone, fear of missing out. But you are not here to live afraid. You are here to live aware. To be aware of how your choices shape your character. To be aware of how your boundaries preserve your brilliance. To be aware that every no is a sacred act of war against the mediocre life that keeps knocking at your door. So let it knock. You don't live there anymore, because the version of you that settles is gone. The version of you that bends for every breeze is buried. The version of you that said yes out of guilt has been replaced by the version of you that says no out of respect. Respect for the mission. Respect for the mind, respect for the masterpiece you're becoming. And yes, that masterpiece requires space, space to breathe, space to grow, space to do deep work in a shallow world. So clear it, clear your schedule, clear your social circle, clear your soul. Not because you're antisocial, but because you're focused, because you understand what most never will, that the most powerful life isn't one with more noise, it's one with more clarity. Clarity that cuts through excuses. Clarity that silences distractions. Clarity that dares to walk alone because the crowd is headed nowhere fast. And if you've ever felt like an outsider, good. It means your vision is too big to fit into the box they tried to hand you. It means your standard is too high to settle for crumbs. It means your soul is waking up and it refuses to go back to sleep. This is your season of refusal, of deliberate, relentless, unapologetic refusal. Refuse the small talk. Refuse the small mindset. Refuse the watered-down dream that once felt safe, but now feels suffocating. Refuse to live a life that does not set your spirit on fire. You owe yourself that much. Because one day, not long from now, you will wake up and realize it wasn't the yeses that shaped your life. It was the no's. The no's you said to average. The no's you whispered through tears when walking away from what was almost enough. The no's you declared with trembling hands but a steady heart. And on that day you will look in the mirror, not with regret, but with reverence. Not with shame, but with strength. Because you'll know you protected what mattered. You walked away from what didn't. You chose alignment over approval, purpose over popularity, and peace over pressure. You learned to say no, not just to the world, but to the version of yourself that would have wasted it. There will come a day, not marked on any calendar, when you stand at the threshold between who you've been and who you must become. That day will not arrive with trumpets. It will arrive in silence, not in the noise of the world, but in the stillness of your soul. And in that stillness, you will be asked a final question. Are you willing to let go of everything that does not serve the life you say you want? Not some things, not a few. Everything. Your ego, your pride, your comforts, your excuses, your applause, your fear of rejection, your need to be understood, your addiction to being needed, your obsession with being busy but never bold. Everything. Because the life you are destined to build will not be constructed from fragments of who you were. It will be forged in the fire of deliberate refusal. It will rise from the ashes of the unnecessary. It will be shaped by the no's you had the courage to say when no one else was watching. That is the real test. Not what you can do when the world is cheering, but what you choose when it's just you, standing in the dark, holding your dream in one hand and a match in the other, ready to burn down anything that blocks its light. And you will burn. You will lose. You will feel the sting of walking away from what almost made you stay. But you will not fall. You will rise. Because this is what rise looks like. Not perfection, not applause, but clarity, conviction, and the courage to say, I do not serve distraction. I do not serve doubt. I do not serve the version of me that lived on their knees. I serve the vision. I serve the truth. I serve the fire that will not be extinguished. And you will walk forward lighter. Not because life got easier, but because you are no longer carrying what was never yours to hold. You will walk forward sharper. Not because you learned more, but because you unlearned what kept you dull. You will walk forward cleaner. Not because the world changed, but because you finally cleaned out the closets of your mind, your time, your soul. You said no. And in doing so, you said yes to the life that was waiting for you all along. That's the irony. The door was never locked. You just had too much in your hands to turn the handle. Now it's time to enter, to build, to become. From this moment on, your time is no longer for sale. Your energy is no longer rented. Your mind is no longer open to squatters. Your path is no longer up for debate. You are done tolerating what breaks you. You are done explaining yourself to the blind. You are done watering dead soil, hoping it will bloom. The silence of your boundaries will speak louder than the noise of your compromises ever did. The sharpness of your no will carve out space for miracles. And the depth of your self-respect will be your protection when the world tries to pull you back. You are no longer afraid of being misunderstood. You are no longer addicted to being available. You are no longer interested in being everything for everyone. Because now, you are something for yourself. And that is enough. You are building a life of discipline, a life of focus, a life of spiritual and mental wealth, a life where your yes means everything, because you had the strength to say no to everything that wasn't worthy of it. This is your revolution. This is your rising. This is the moment you become untouchable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get clearer. So walk. Walk like every step is a statement. Walk like your time is sacred. Walk like your energy is royalty. Walk like the fire within you has found its purpose. Because it has. This is your commandment now. If it doesn't build me, I do not serve it. If it doesn't build me, I do not chase it. If it doesn't build me, I do not carry it. If it doesn't build me, I do not make room for it. You were never meant to live a diluted life. You were meant to live fully, focused, free. And freedom isn't found in what you say yes to. It is found in what you finally learn to say no to. Now go. Say it. Say it with conviction. Say it with peace. Say it with fire. And never look back. No. Because you have something to build, and the world is waiting.
If this message awakens something in you, if you felt the fire stir inside your spirit, then don't let it fade. Hit that subscribe button, not just for more videos, but as a declaration that you are committed. That you are building a mindset worthy of greatness. Because this channel isn't for everyone. Yes. It's for the few who refuse to live on autopilot, who choose purpose over comfort, who are ready to rise relentlessly. Thank you for watching. Thank you for believing in more. Above all, thank you for daring to become the person you were always meant to be. We'll see you in the next one. Stay fearless, stay focused, and keep building the life that no one else can imagine but you.